Good morning, y'all. It is 6:35, and I thought I would get on here and just rap a little bit. I've got a lot of thoughts that have been on my mind for the past 24/7. I am your typical overthinker, ruminator, deep thinker, um, train of thoughter. Like I just am always thinking of things all the time. Um, So my brain needs an outlet, and also I'm learning that a lot of the things that I think that feel like they need to come out are often things that other people need to hear. So something I want to talk about today is the process of unmasking. The process of stepping into myself fully as an autistic person, as an autistic woman, um, as a high functioning autistic woman, which I don't agree with that term because I don't function well all the time. Right now, I'm going through a really intense skill regression where a lot of the things that used to be really easy for me um, are really hard to mask through now because I am, again, unmasking. I'm learning how to exist in the world without a mask on. Um, I'm learning that a lot of the tendencies that I thought were my natural personality are things that I prefer to only share with people who respect and appreciate it. Because again, when we go through this world and we share our gifts with people who don't really receive them the way that they're meant to be received, it can do damage, and that's okay. I'm a phoenix. I always rise up at at the beginning of the next day, so it's not a huge deal to me. However, those little chips on your character, those little things that chip away at who you are, they do matter. And it does matter when you feel accepted for who you actually are and not for who you pretend to be or who is palatable to those around you. I learned at an early age that it was better to be a good listener. It was better to be quiet. It was better to not ask questions. It was better to not, like I just learned a lot of things that I carried into adulthood that I thought were my personality that weren't actually my personality, that were just an internal monologue of judgment. Yeah, ego death is great. So yeah, that's a lot of me stepping into reprogramming myself. So I very much am trying to be careful about the words I use, and because this platform and this way, this medium that I'm sharing myself through is based in words and sounds coming out of my mouth. I just wanted to ensure that I didn't say anything wrong, and then I got to thinking, bitch. Mm, that doesn't make sense because everybody is open to making mistakes. No one is perfect. Part of the reason we're here is because we have created this notion of you must be perfect at all times. You must not falter from what is expected of you. If you do, you're canceled. And respectfully, I do support cancel culture to a degree when it comes to abusers, when it comes to people who harm children and innocent folks. I do um, support cancellation. However, I do think that the majority of issues that folks face in this society can be fixed through recuperation, through compassion, through acknowledging, hey, yeah, listen, you fucked up. It actually doesn't make you a terrible person if you don't let it. Now, granted, again, caveat, some people are just terrible. We see the government, they just terrible, bro. I'm just kidding. I'm trying again. See, you see how my ego is still very much in control. I'm trying to avoid this very clear dichotomy of good versus bad because it's never that simple, and that's why so many good people have gotten away with doing bad things for so long because they've smiled through it. And it's like, okay, just because a bad thing is done with a smile, does that make it good? Um, Part of me unmasking is not judging how I speak, the cadence in which I speak, the pace in which I speak, the words in which I might miss or mispronounce. I'm not policing my pauses. I'm not going to edit them out. I think there's a lot to be found in a pause. As a theater artist, I learned a lot from when there was just a lull in the vibration in the room. And there's things to be found in that lull of vibration. So I'm going to encourage you all to find it yourselves when you hear me speak and then there's a pause. If your brain is churning, what is it telling you? Um, yeah, I want to speak life into folks right now. My black, brown, uh, queer and gay, trans family. I want to speak life into us because I feel like a lot of the time our gifts are lost to trauma. Yeah. I, one day I really will speak more about the intersectionality of trauma, neurodivergence, spiritual gifts, and healing generational curses because there is a very strong connection in all of them, and I am finding that out in real time. But today, as it pertains to that matter of that connection between all of those things that seem not connected, the more I step into who I am without policing myself, the more I am able to process things in a way that's not so judgmental, the more I'm able to share my thoughts in a way that's much more grounded, the more I'm able to speak my truth, the more the more truths are revealed. Some people believe the highest vibration is love. The highest vibration is truth. Um, at least that's what I hear. And I feel like I've seen that because through truth, I've seen people heal. I've seen people break down walls that I didn't know that they could break down. I've seen people make choices and flip their mind in ways that I've never thought that I would see them do in my lifetime. Um, those people that they say, oh, they're just stuck in their ways, grandma, granny and them. Yeah, speak your mind to them too. Yes, I said it. Speak your mind to granny. Granted, respectfully, don't be talking crazy to granny. I don't think, I think, grounding yourself in the face of conflict like that is essential. And I'm learning that myself because, again, as an autistic woman who has OCD, among other things, I get very on edge emotion wise. So if something is a trigger for me or my OCD preferences or my autism preferences, then it can be triggering. And I'm learning how to work through those triggers in a way that is mindful and thoughtful and not policing my emotion, but realizing, oh, okay, I'm about to crash out. Why? Because there's a need that I have that's not being met. Okay, what is that need? Okay, how do I meet that need right now? Okay, great. And that alone can silence the rage. Because again, for so many formal people pleasers and for so many nice strong friends, the strong friend or the nice friend that's always picking everybody up and the one that's always kind, it's okay to be fucking angry, dude. It's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. Righteous anger is important. Bad people get by when good people are afraid of being angry and doing something about it. So you know what? It's okay to get angry. You can be a cute little angry unicorn, like My Little Pony. They be angry, but they still cute. So yeah, I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to ask yourself, is that internal voice, is that mine? Does it actually is it actually showing up for me, or is it like trying to block me from things that I'm afraid of because they bring me to my purpose? Something else I want to speak on is the fear of like stepping into your purpose. I really struggle with knowing what I need, knowing what is for me, and really being afraid of what will happen in that moment when everything that I've dreamed of becomes real. And I think that a lot of us who have been through things in our life, who have sacrificed joy because of the behavior of others in our lifetime, especially if it was at a young age. I think for a lot of us, it's hard to make those choices that are definitively for us. Again, it's necessary because there's a collective waiting on you to be of service. I repeat, it is essential because there is a collective waiting for you to be of service. I myself am a part of that collective. I'm looking for like minded souls. I'm looking for those people who don't take shit. I'm looking for those people who don't care about dancing in public. I'm looking for those people who are down to like plan a fucking flash mob for no reason because the world needs joy. I'm looking for those people who want to film a movie even though they have no experience because it's just a message that needs to be seen and heard right now. We have to stop being afraid to take that leap. We really do. I'm talking to you and I'm talking to me. This is the time. This is a version of me that you all, I don't know if you've seen before, maybe perhaps in New York. Actually, no, you couldn't have because this version of me is completely new. So, yeah, hi, it's me. I'm new here, but I'm also like, this is why this space is called the chrysalis because I am constantly changing. I am constantly transforming. I am constantly ebbing and flowing. If we are a mirror to the world around us, the world don't stay the same. So we also have to change, ebb, and flow. Yeah. So this version of me right now, just a reminder, I am a proud bisexual woman. Okay. I love being a woman. However, I also am gender fluid. Like I don't mind um, expressing myself outwardly in a way that others might view as more masculine. I don't mind being called different pronouns. I prefer she, they, but I don't mind if somebody says, oh, he. I'm like, yeah, yeah, actually. But it doesn't bother me because the human existence is all encompassing. To me, it's just like we're all these beautiful little playthings and we get to play dress up however we want and we get to be called whatever we want. Your name is literally just a sound, y'all. Can we acknowledge that for a moment? Your name is literally the sound of lips, teeth, and tongue smacking together. And you got the nerve to say, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to respect the sound that you want me to make it you." Okay, well then I will not respond because that's not the sound that I respond to. you know? Truly, it's really that simple. Um but yeah, I'm a proud queer woman. I am an artist. I am autistic. I have OCD. I have PTSD. Uh, well, I won't say I have. I grapple with. Again, trying to use different words so that these things don't become me, but they are still acknowledged as a part of me, so that I can work through them and with them. Part of spiritual work as someone who practices African ancestral religion, and honestly, I kind of it's kind of a mixture of many things, but African ancestral religion sits at the heart of it. Um, but as somebody who practices that, shadow work is going to blow your mind. One, two, it's something that it's done constantly, at least truly, if you're going to acknowledge your spirit, you will always have a shadow. So there will always be work to be done to some degree. So the shadow work is basically you acknowledging those things that you might paint in a negative light and taking that lens off of it and letting it be an objective thought and asking yourself, where does it come from? Why? How do I release it? Is it something I can release? Is it something I want to release? Is it something that's actually useful to me? Because you will find that sometimes protective mechanisms are actually useful. um, and along that line, again, like I've been thinking so much more about how the more I heal, the more the gifts that I had as a child come back. I also was thinking about unmasking, and why did it take me so long to really be at this point of burnout is because I have been doing theater my whole life. Theater provided me a space to unmask in a way that it just felt natural. It was just theater. It wasn't me doing something that, others might judge or whatever. It was just me existing in a space where I felt unjudged, unapologetically myself. And I felt unapologetically myself because I wasn't masking through my interactions. It was encouraged to be loud. It was encouraged to be spontaneous. It was encouraged to be like random. Like sometimes I'll like blurt things out because again, like there's probably 5 songs playing in my mind right now at once, and sometimes I just want to say one of them out loud. And usually I'd be like, no, don't say that out loud. There's no reason. It's just in your head. But these days, if I'm walking around my house and that song comes to my head, I'm gonna blurt that shit out. I might even start twerking. Who knows? But I just feel like my inner child is so free. I feel like the more that I step into the freedom of choosing how do I let the world compute through my brain and my body and my spirit, I feel more free. I feel more whole. I feel more called to my purpose. And I want you all who feel like you're not doing enough, who feel like the world is in a rough place, like, it's okay. This is our time. Heal yourself, step into your purpose, and come shoot me a DM so we can chit chat more about how we're going to do what we need to do for this collective, how we're going to be, the folks that help usher a new type of mindset into this new wave of life, because we're done taking shit. We're done pretending. We're done with all these broken ass systems that we didn't ask for. We're done with a global genocide. Yes, I said it. I do not support, I do not really even support war. And this is somebody who punches things. I am a kickboxer, martial artist. I love to fight. However, I do not support harming others. I especially don't support harming others in the sense, in the spirit of imperialism, because it could be you in 2 seconds. All it takes is one slide of the Dow Jones and you are bankrupt, baby. Now, granted, that language I just said, it probably wasn't accurate. It's just me using, flow, whatever. I don't have to explain. That's part of the unmasking, is not explaining. So let's do that. If you all ever want to chime in and say, hey, that's actually not right, Phineas, this is actually the name of the thing, you're always welcome to do that. I take criticism really well. Again, being autistic, it's all like just computer shit to me. So send me an update. I'll put it in my software and I'll update my software. Nobody is exempt from making mistakes or saying something that might be, ooh, that's not the right word for that. All you can do is take in that information, acknowledge where you went wrong, and adjust accordingly out of respect for those around you. So yeah. Hi, baby. My husband woke up, y'all. I'm just over here again shooting the shit. But if you feel like this spoke to you on a level that you've been feeling for a long time, that you feel like nobody around you can really understand, I really want you all to join me on this journey. So I'm going to be talking about all of these things a lot more because it's who I am, and trying to create this cookie cutter image of myself that's palatable for the masses is not my jam at all. So I'll see y'all next time, and I look forward to sitting in the chrysalis with you. Bye bye.